A rent increase in Dubai is not a negotiation between you and your landlord. It is a calculation, capped in slabs against the RERA index, and valid only with 90 days written notice before your renewal date. Anything outside those two rules is not a hard bargain. It is a number you are entitled to decline. Two rules decide every rent increase dispute in this city, and most tenants only know one of them. The first is the slab system. The second is the clock. Miss either, and the increase fails. No matter how the market moved. The slabs first. Under Decree 43 of 2013, how much your rent can rise depends on how far it sits below the average for comparable properties in your area, the average being set by the RERA rental index. If your rent is within 10% of the average, no increase is permitted at all. 11 to 20% below, up to 5%. 21 to 30% below, up to 10. 31 to 40% below, up to 15. And only if your rent is more than 40% under the average can it rise by the maximum 20%. The further behind the market you are, the more ground the landlord may close, but the slabs are ceilings, not entitlements. One practical instruction, and it is the only tool recommendation this desk will ever make. Use the official calculator. The rental index is the Dubai Land Department's own dataset, the comparables. The area averages, the classification of your building all live inside it. Third-party calculators are guessing at a proprietary number. Run your Ijari details through the DLD's own tool, screenshot the result with the date visible, and you are holding the only number a settlement conversation or a judge will care about. Now the clock, which kills more increases than the slabs do. A landlord who wants to amend the terms of a renewing tenancy, and rent is a term, must give 90 days written notice before the contract expires, unless you have agreed otherwise. No notice. Inside the window, no increase. The tenancy renews on its existing terms. The market can have moved 20%. Without the 90 days, the number stays where it was. Tenants lose winnable increase disputes every month, simply by not counting backwards from their own renewal date. So here is what is actually disputable. An increase with no 90-day notice, disputable, and usually fatal to the increase. An increase above the slab, your calculator result permits. Disputable, down to the ceiling. A dispute about which category your property was compared against, arguable on evidence. And here is what is not. An increase that sits inside the slab notice on time. That one is lawful, and the honest recommendation is to renew, negotiate softly, or plan a move. This desk does not manufacture disputes out of numbers that comply. One more layer, because compliance and strategy are different. Questions. A lawful increase is still a negotiable one, landlords read. The same market you do. A vacancy costs weeks of rent, agency, commission, and the risk of a worse tenant and a sitting tenant. Offering renewal at something below the full slab is often the better commercial outcome. Walk into that conversation holding the calculator screenshot and the notice dates, and you are negotiating from the index, not from hope, and document whatever is agreed, because this year's paper trail is next year's starting position. The tenant with a clean file gets tested far less often than the tenant without one. When the increase does fail, one of the two rules, the structured letter, is almost embarrassingly effective, because the letter is arithmetic with a citation. It states the calculator result, cites the decree, states the notice date or its absence, and sets a defined response window. Most out-of-slab increases retreat on paper. They were never positions, just attempts. That is pre-legal rental dispute resolution in its purest form, the step before your file, resolving the matter because the number was never really arguable. Dispute.a operates the attempt at a fixed fee. The details are on the site, and if it is pressed anyway, the second branch is right there. The RDC will decide it, quickly, on the same two rules. The RDC decides disputes. Most disagreements don't need deciding, they need resolving. A rent increase dispute, 9 times out of 10, is a calculation wearing a costume. Escalation is a decision, not a default. Next episode, deposits and the letter that gets them back.